you have to disappear. Stop announcing every move and start building something that speaks for itself. Disappearing means doing the work. It means doing the work in the dark. It means building in private what you don't need to prove in public. They built without broadcasting. They worked in silence so they could rise without noise. So, whilst everyone is putting pressure on visibility,
say it's possible. That's all I want you to do when you look at your dream. Just say to yourself every day, it's possible. If someone has done it, then you can do it. It's possible. It's possible. I can bounce back from adversity and reinvent my life. It's possible. Not only is it possible for you to have your dream, and it's necessary.
You're not going to be ready when the time comes. If you're not constantly performing without purpose, the purpose is always there. The purpose never leaves us because the very purpose is you. The main purpose in life is you. So if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, you don't care enough about yourself.
I would say no. I would say you can't teach it. I would say that you can grow it. If you've got the seed of some sort of fire, you could probably grow and you can get better at it.
You start to build confidence.
Train, study, work, practice. Train, study, work, practice. I don't think imposter syndrome is a bad thing. I think if you feel it, it's actually a good indication that you're humble and you have an open mind.
I think I am. I'm not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. Let that blow your mind for a moment. This is the trap. You feel pressured to prove you're doing well before you've even figured out what that means for you. The life that looks good or sounds good is nothing compared to a life that feels good. What we gain makes us successful, but what we lose makes us fulfilled.
I started off poor. My parents never had any money. My father worked as a carpenter and my mother worked as a nurse, not always full-time. I didn't graduate from high school. In fact, I was so badly behaved in high school that I was expelled or suspended 3 or 4 times. The only work I could get was a laboring job. I washed dishes in the back of a small hotel. I worked in a sawmill, stacking boards. I worked on a farm, digging wells. I worked in construction as a laborer, carrying materials from place to place. Hard work didn't seem to be enough. I made hundreds of calls without making any sales. I used to run from office to office and from door to door so I could see more people, but I was just barely hanging on by my fingernails. And then one day, I began to ask, why is it that some salespeople are more successful than others? I heard that the top 20% of salespeople in every field earn 80% of the money. The top 10% earned even more. Decide today that you're going to get into the top 20% of money earners in your business and then do whatever you need to do to get there.
Detach from your emotions. Good leaders have control of our emotions. I want you to have the ownership of the plan, right? So if I'm imposing a plan on you, then that's not really your plan. That is the job of a leader. That is the job of a leader, to take a step back, detach from the situation, and see the entire picture. If you are in the problem, you won't see the solution to the problem. We will very rarely. So you have to be able to detach.
Your only goal becomes to don't break the chain. Measuring your progress, you get an immediate reward. Every action that you take is actually a vote for the type of person that you want to become. The goal is not to read a book, it's to become a reader. The goal is not to run a marathon, it's to become a runner. If you can change your habits, you can change your life.
Operate out of your imagination, not your memory. Eyesight is judging on what you see. Judging according to appearances. But mindsight is how you interpret what you see. If you don't program yourself, life will program you. What people think about you and the possibilities for your dream is none of your business. The major key to your reaching your dream, your living up to your greatness, your making your contribution is you.
If I'm not growing, I'm gonna feel unfulfilled. Well, if you're not growing, then you're dying. There's no such thing as stagnation.
It's a journey. There's no like pinnacle. It's not like, hey, you make it to a certain level and you stop investing in yourself.
People think it's about the money itself. They think it's about the cars. All of those things are just scoreboard and trophies. So the same way you apply progressive overload in the gym is the same thing you should do with life.
It's this wishing and wanting and hoping. To me, manifestation is envisioning what it is that you want very specifically and then acting as if you already have that thing. So manifestation is a framework of how to act on a daily basis to be that person that already has all those things.
Yes, wealthy, well-respected, and very well-loved. And so for me, that's the trifecta of success. The problem is that you could hand this piece of paper to a young man and they will open it and they will read it and they will think that they understand it, but they will disregard it and they will go on looking for more fanciful, complicated, seemingly mysterious ideas in order to capture their success.
Well, I think discipline has like a negative connotation of self-regulation, something that one should look forward to. Empowered, right? It builds you up. It creates your confidence. You own it, right? When you're able to self-regulate, you build confidence. Each day when you get 5 or 6 wins in the morning and your mind tells you, don't get up, but you do it anyway. Don't hydrate, but you do it anyway. Don't meditate, don't read, don't go to the gym, but you do it anyway. Now you're starting to have impulse control, and now you're starting to understand that your mind doesn't determine what actions you take. No matter how you feel, no matter what your first thought is, no matter how sick or tired you are not paralyzed. You can still take an action, and that action is what changes your mind.
Because I never went to high school, I wasn't very smart, and I thought that was a disadvantage. And so every endeavor I pursued, I just had to find out what were those few things that made this work. And because I thought I wasn't very smart, I didn't change them. I didn't try to adapt them and make them my own. I just did them. And then because I did them over and over again, I got really good at them. And the thing that I thought was my disadvantage became my great advantage.
I had monomaniacal focus. Giving up weekends and vacation wasn't some big sacrifice. I loved it to be successful. Even though we were the first, we had a broader concept of software than the other companies. We needed to be what I would call hardcore. The work is what I want to do. It's not like, oh God, I've got to earn a little bit more money. I woke up and said, okay, I'd love to get to work. And it was just in no way a hardship.
Disgust says, I have had it. The day you can say, I've had it. But the day it begins, the man's finally had it with mediocrity. He's had it with being a loser. I've had it being on my knees in the dust looking for pennies. We're not living like this any. Commit an act that says, I've had it. Powerful.
Remember that only you are responsible for your success, no one else. But successful people make a 100% commitment to succeeding. They say, I will be successful no matter what it takes. It's inevitable. If you'll hang in there long enough, you will be successful.
Your environment often influences. You don't have to be the victim of your environment, you can also be the architect of it. In the beginning, the most important thing is just to shut up and put your reps in. Optimize for the starting line, not the finish line. Make it as easy as possible to get started.
Fully 5% of self-made millionaires in America are salespeople who sold for another company all their lives. The reason they are successful is because they became very, very good at selling. They earned a high income, and then they saved and invested.
I'm an addict and I've channeled this into this direction. Write all the problems down. Is this in your control or out of your control? If it's in your control, you need to work on your skill sets, and if it's out of your control, I will help you make changes to the system.
It all comes down to choices. Right now, as you sit there in your chair, right now, your whole life is nothing but the accumulated compound effect of the choices you've made up to this moment. Right now, your waistline is nothing but the accumulated compound effect of the choices you've made up to this moment. The size of your business, your bank account, the intimacy of the relationships in your life are all just an outcome of the compounded choices you've made up to this point.
Everything counts. Everything that you do counts. The biggest mistake that people make is they think that only what they want to count counts. Well, when you read a book, when you listen to an audio program, when you go to a course, when you go to bed early and get up early and you work, it all counts. And it's all going on the plus side of your ledger. But when you watch television, waste time, hang out, fool around, and so on, all of that counts as well. And it's going on the negative side of your ledger.
This idea that habits are, I like to say habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. So this 1% change that you're talking about, it's kind of like Imagine you're in a plane and you're leaving Los Angeles and you're going to go to New York. I actually calculated this. If you shift the nose of the airplane just 3.5 degrees, it's like 7 or 8 feet on the runway, you barely even notice it, but you end up in Washington, D.C. instead of New York.
Right.
And habits are kind of a similar thing. You know, they're these small routines, little 1% changes, but as over time, they compound and you can end up at a very different place based on them.
This is the reason why Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Because the math between day 1 and day 2 is exactly the same math between day 30 and day 31. Nothing's different. You just see the compound effect of it. And this is why I'm telling you right now this morning, compound choices are the eighth wonder of the success world. Because the same choice you make between day 1 and day 2 is exactly the same simple, small, easy choice at day 30 to day 31. But the outcome of those choices are dramatically different.
You have to become a student before you become a master. And you have to feel stupid before you become intelligent. And you have to feel poor before you are rich. If you assume that, now you're not only assuming the responsibility for the bad things in your life, but you're also assuming the responsibility for all the upsides. Every success is yours. Every win is yours.
Any idea that's held in the mind, that's emphasized, that's either feared or revered, so it could be bad or good, that's either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available. It starts to move into form.
And here's an important point. If what you are doing is not moving you toward your goals, then it's probably moving you away from your goals. Nothing is neutral. Everything that you're doing is either moving you toward the things that you want to accomplish in life, the person you want to be, the wealth you want to accumulate, or it's moving you away. Everything counts. The law of accumulation says that everything counts.
The goal isn't to have the perfect daily routine tomorrow. The goal is to still be winning your daily routine in 50 years' time. If you expand your time horizon sufficiently, you will realize that very, very tiny steps can compound.
Rome wasn't built in a day. We all know that. Everyone hears that. But Rome also didn't fall apart overnight either. It took hundreds of years for Rome to reach its peak, but it also took time, hundreds of years, for Rome to decay and fall apart. And that is representative of life, because you don't achieve worthwhile goals quickly or easily. They take time. They take struggle. They take relentless pursuit day in and day out. That's what it takes.
So if we're going to change the trajectory of your life starting today, starting right now, we've got to go to where the control factor of it all begins, and it all begins with choices. Choices is the first line of code in rewiring your operating system.
Accident, illness, death, all those things are a part of life. And I think as simple as it sounds, it's really important. One of the chapters in the book is put your last day first. Another chapter at the end is have a living funeral. Buy the cake, buy the daisies, invite your family, hear what they would say about you, tell them how much you love them, and remind yourself that life is really very short.
One of the greatest success principles of all time is called the law of accumulation. This law says that everything great and worthwhile in human life is an accumulation of hundreds and sometimes thousands of tiny efforts and sacrifices that nobody ever sees or appreciates. This law says that everything accumulates over time, that you may have to put in many, many tiny efforts that nobody sees or appreciates before you achieve anything worthwhile. It's like a snowball. A snowball starts off very small, but it grows as it adds millions and millions of tiny snowflakes and continues to grow as it gathers momentum, turning into an avalanche that takes the whole mountain in front of it.
You're called on another journey. You have a new level of challenge that you need to go on. It just never ends, but it makes life really really beautiful.
The way that I think about it is when making plans, think big. When making progress, think small. And getting 1% better each day is a way to encourage that.
Success is a result of small, seemingly insignificant, moment-to-moment choices. The only thing that separates them from you is that accumulated compound effect of those little choices that created dramatic differences in results.
A person who has a great life by the law of accumulation is a person who's accumulated far more credits, more pluses on the credit side than debits on the debit side.
The rich and the poor are both self-made, but only the rich will admit it. The poor person doesn't want to admit that the lifestyle that they have is theirs. It's theirs, they chose it. So whether you're rich or you're poor, it's your choice and you can change it. But just have the humility to recognize that you have to change because you're not hurting anybody except yourself. And you can, get rid of the mask, the hypocrisy, the mirror, the mirage of illusions that your life is perfect. Nobody's life is perfect. You optimize and you get better. When everybody operates like they're just students of life and they're just learning, then their life begins to change.
When you take a look at the 7 billion people on the planet, a question I'm asked a lot is, we only get to pick 12 people to be on the cover of Success magazine out of 7 billion. And I'm asked, what do these guys do to become so successful? What separated them from everybody else? Well, let me tell you what they did not do, because this is what everybody thinks they did to get to the cover of Success magazine.
Through journaling, through meditation, through prayer, through silence, through stillness, through nature walks. And so I think if we can train ourselves to say, wow, that person is doing so well, and applaud them and feel good for them, and say, if they can do it, I can do it, I think we're going to be much more peaceful.
Anybody here ever been bitten by an elephant? Well, what about mosquitoes? Anybody ever been bitten by a mosquito? Bill Gates says this is the most deadly animal on the planet for the human species. And it's also one of the smallest. See, nature provides clues. It's the little things in life that will bite you and kill you. So is it true about your choices. Life is like a pendulum. On one side of the pendulum, you have failure, rejection, defeat, pain, and sadness. On the other side, you have success, acceptance, victory, joy, and happiness. Now, if you just stand still, you won't experience any pain, you won't experience any joy. As a universal law, you will only get the amount of success on one side as the amount of pain and failure you're willing to experience on the other side. The one thing you can control is the amount of failure you get. You can't control success, but the one thing you can chase is failure. And you can chase it with a reckless abandon. I'm gonna be a failure-seeking machine. Every time I got a no, I was delighted. Why? Because I was closer to being done. That if you are willing to seek rejection, failure, and pain, you will get massive success, joy, and happiness.
The influence of our habits is enormous. In a lot of ways, your results in life are kind of a lagging measure of the habits that precede them. Your knowledge is a lagging measure of your reading and learning habits. Fix the habits and the results will fix themselves. Change the inputs and the outputs will shift automatically. What would this look like if it was fun? Which of these options is the most fun to me? The person who's having fun is actually the person who's dangerous. Like, you don't want to compete with them because they're having a good time. When it gets difficult, they're way more likely to stick with it.
And he did, and he got done with it. So, and I think that's a good thing to remember, that discipline isn't just, oh, this person is, quote, more disciplined than this other person. It's like, no, this person is choosing discipline, this person is not. That's the way it is. You have the option of being disciplined. You don't have the option of being born 6'4", but you do have the option of choosing discipline or not.
So discipline, not necessarily something that you're born with?
I think it's a choice.
Motivation. I didn't want to do the thing. Discipline. I did the thing in spite of not wanting to do the thing.
Yep. Not one part of me wanted to come train today. Like 0% of me wanted to come train today. And I'm so glad I came. Doesn't matter whether you want to do it or not, you gotta have the discipline, go do it. I know that feeling so well that it just totally overrides you can't count on motivation, like it's not gonna be there for you.
Yeah. I don't wanna have a plan B, I'm just gonna burn the bridges. To invest in a mentor, it takes a certain level of dropping your ego. And as soon as I got out of a victim mentality and I was like, you know what, I'm ground zero, Put yourself in the most uncomfortable situation because that's the only way you can grow.
In order to move up really quickly, you have to make decisions really quickly.
The pressure that I had to make that payment every single month was what forced me to level up and grow. If you can know that person's deepest, darkest pain points and you can know their desires, then you're gonna be able to sell to that person. They don't look up to me. They see a piece of themselves in me.
They accepted that you were different from your peers. And that ability to concentrate, would hold me in good stead in terms of reading long books and applying that. Fighting your parents really has no purpose. I mean, they really do love you. They're on your side. You should apply your energy towards other things. No, my parents, yes, they're imperfect, but wow, they're on my side. That changed my behavior.
We overestimate what we can do in 1 year, and we underestimate what we can do in 10 years.
Well, people, when they would hear us say a computer on every desk and in every home, running Microsoft software, they were like, you kids are really out of it.
Like, why is anything important? Why are we here? What's the origin of the universe? And probably the questions we don't even know to ask are the most important ones. So I'm just trying to, I guess, understand what's going on. What is going on in this reality? The hard part is the question, not the answer. By expanding the scope and scale of consciousness, we can better understand what questions to ask about the answer that is the universe. By expanding the scope and scale of consciousness, we can better understand what questions to ask about the answer that is the universe. If it's long-term for a company, do you like the products? Do you like the product roadmap? Believe in the team? A company is just a group of people assembled to create products and services. The most important thing to do is just make useful products and services.
Which one of all the products and services?
You definitely need to put in serious hours.
Most human beings are only living at about 40% of their capability. The mind has a governor, like a car. It protects us from pain and suffering. The second we feel that shit, our mind says, oh no, this isn't fun. We should back off. The mind has the tactical advantage over you at all times. It knows your insecurities. It knows your deep, dark lies. This is the time where you have to gain control back of your mind. It's okay, let me see if I can go 45%.
The reason that I'm fearless was because it was bigger than me. My purpose was bigger than me. It was God-given, pushing out a mission of serving outside of myself. And I think that's the key to fearlessness. No weapon formed against me is gonna prosper. And that's why I act fearlessly. Both faith and fear require you to believe in the unseen. I've just walked with optimism and faith my entire life. You don't worship God and to not walk with optimism. What if this fails? You don't worship. Life is a test itself, and you have to be grateful for the tests and the ups and downs. Don't take life too serious. Walk with faith. Laugh at this game.
Top salespeople, top human beings are ambitious. They have an intense desire to be successful. Everybody who's in the top 20% started in the bottom 20%. And that anything that hundreds of thousands and millions of other people have done, you can do as well. But set as a goal, the goal of becoming one of the top salespeople in your field, and never stop until you do. Fear is the greatest single obstacle for success in sales. And the rule is, go for no. Seek out the word no as often as you can. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. And after you've spoken to 100 people as fast as you can, you'll never be afraid again.
If there is ever a gap between your goal and your system, if there's ever a gap between your desired outcome and your daily habits will always win. Goals are best for people who care about winning once. Systems are best for people who care about winning repeatedly. We don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems.
Discipline begets discipline, right? If you make a bad decision in the morning, you make one good little decision that leads to another good little opportunity. And Rome wasn't built in a day, but Rome didn't fall apart on a day either. It falls apart just a little bit at a time.
Yeah, nobody gets fit overnight, nobody gets fat overnight.
Having one woman allowed me to eliminate the lust. I have a superpower that nobody else, if you're fully locked into your purpose, given to you as a reward. Any desire or lust that God gives you, he also gives you the ability to overcome it. You have access to absolutely everything you want, and if you're not disciplined, it's gonna destroy you.
I can't even believe what's happened since I gave my life to Jesus Christ. My old desires just completely went away.
Life is a test of consciousness. You're put down here at birth, you know absolutely nothing, and you're just remembering who you're supposed to be. So if you look at God as a metaphor of I am, and everybody has the power of God by what they affirm of themselves. Change your self-image and change your reality. If you're dead broke, it starts by stop affirming that of yourself. Stop saying that's who you are.
God tells you you will continue to suffer because God is telling you the truth that you can live a blessed life, not for you to live in suffering. And the objective is for you to live a good life. There's rules to the game. You have to follow the rules of the game. And if you follow the rules of the game, you live a good life. If you don't follow the rules of the game, then the game plays against you. And that's why most people feel like they're not advancing in life, because they're not following God.
To be successful, even though we were the first, we had a broader concept of software than the other companies. We needed to be what I would call hardcore. The work is what I want to do. It's not like, oh God, I've got to earn a little bit more money. I woke up and said, okay, I'd love to get to work. And it was just in no way a hardship.
It's a way better feeling just to kill your ego and win at life.
A lot of people confuse confidence with ego, and they're two completely different things. But ego is when it gets to a point where you think you're better than everyone.
I no longer care to have that approval, and it's the most freeing feeling in the world.
Don't waste your time. Do you know that everybody alive gets exactly the same amount of time we get all there is? It's what we do with it that makes the difference. Don't waste your life. Set your goals high. Quit thinking about what's wrong. Start thinking what's right. Love a little more, hate a little less. You have no idea what you're capable of doing. Make up your mind today, you're going to figure it out.
Stay humble. Never forget where you came from. Stay hungry. Keep that fire in your soul. And stay true. Always be real with yourself and the world. Because the world don't need no more copies. It need originals. And trust me, ain't nobody else that can do what you do like you do.
Never, ever quit. Never quit. And I've seen people quitting. And if they would have held out longer, they would have been successful. I've seen it so much. I've seen some of the most brilliant people in the world that never made it because they were quitters. They were just quitters. They would quit. They just couldn't take it. They couldn't whatever. One of the things about loving what you do is that it's not work, and therefore you don't quit automatically. It's a lot easier not to quit. But you can never give up. Now, you have to also have flexibility, though. You can't necessarily say, I'm never giving up, and you got to be able to weave and bob. You don't have to go through a concrete wall when you can go over it or around it or under it or something. You have to have flexibility. You have to always be able to change course a little bit, maybe always with that same goal, but don't quit.
I don't believe in talents. I'm here because I worked hard my whole life. Without that work, no one in this room would know who I am, except my family. So to all the kids around the world watching, paying attention, and aspiring to be like one of us or even on the stage someday, put the work in and watch the magical ride you go on.
And the truth is, the price of progress is pain. Most people do not want to experience pain. They like comfort. So if you want progress, you must be willing to, in the process, experience pain so that you may achieve your goal.
I believe in discipline will keep you alive, will bring you to wherever you want to come. He's the most strongest, but he's the most. I follow discipline, and I try to teach them what discipline is.
Work, 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 work. No results, but I'm a little bit better. Work, 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 work. Work, 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 work. No results, but I'm a little bit better. Work, 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 work. No results, I'm a little bit better. Work. Boom, just got paid. I just got paid. And it looks like overnight success. It's like, oh shit, it happened in a year. No, bro, it doesn't. Because if you do all those things, even if nothing happens and you know you're doing the right thing and you're on track, overnight success becomes this easy thing because you were internally growing and then the bubble pop. And then boom, it looks like you were doing it all along.
Remember, it's not what you have, but what you do with what you have that separates winners from losers. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to what happens to you that counts. The Greek philosopher Epictetus once said that circumstances do not make the man or woman. They merely reveal him to himself. Your response to the adversity of life is the real measure of who you are and what you're made of.
If you will change, everything will change for you. You don't have to change what's outside. All you've got to change is what's inside. To have more, you simply have to become more. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Start working on yourself, making these personal changes. It'll all change for you.
Chase excellence and never chase money. Why? Because money has an incredible way of finding excellence. Did you chase excellence and not money? Do you have the intellectual curiosity to learn everything you can about this incredible industry and master it? Become the smartest person in the room. Have you mastered it?
What if it doesn't work? What if it does? See, that's how broke people think. That's how I was raised. Be careful. What if it doesn't work, Sean? And I was always like, but what if it does? That's what scares a lot of broke people. This idea of what if it actually does work? Your friends will dislike you. By the way, if you start changing your life and you make a lot more money than your friends, they will dislike you. You need one hand to count the amount of people who are going to pull for you if it doesn't benefit them in your life. And if you think you have more than that, you're lying to yourself. You do not.
The biggest mistake in general that I've made, and I'm trying to correct for that, is to put too much of a weighting on somebody's talent and not enough on their personality. And I've made that mistake several times. In fact, then I would say, oh, gee, I'm not going to make that mistake again, and then I would make it again. And I think it actually matters whether somebody has a good heart. It really does. And I've made the mistake of thinking that sometimes it's just about the brain.
You spend your whole life learning. Learn. It's not just high school. Like every professional is always learning. Listen to the other side. Read other people. If you're a Democrat, read George Will. Understand why libertarians think the way they do, or why. And if you're a Republican, read Tom Friedman, or read, people who are saying why our job is to lift up society. Like a little respect and appreciation, not just knee-jerk reactions to stuff. Earn your respect and trust every day from people, like every interaction and things like that. Treat everyone with respect. And I think part of the goal in life is to have purpose. It's not how much money you die with; it's purpose. And did you make the world a better place while you were here? And I think when you have purpose, you also have more happiness.
Every morning when you get up, say over and over to yourself, do it now, do it now, do it now. I do it now, do it now. Whenever you have this tendency to procrastinate, program your subconscious mind with this automatic conditioned command, do it now, do it now, do it now. The key to overcoming procrastination is to develop a sense of urgency. Be the kind of person who gets things done quickly. Be the kind of person who launches fast on a task. Say over and over to yourself, do it now, do it now, do it now. Do you know that less than 2% of the population have a sense of urgency? And that there's not an example of a successful person anywhere who does not have a sense of urgency? That if you just develop a sense of urgency when somebody gives you a task, that you get on it and do it fast, that alone will move you into the top ranks in a very short period of time.
You should be a monster, because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no, wrong. You should be a monster, an absolute monster. And then you should learn how to control it.
Today is difficult. Tomorrow is much more difficult. The day after tomorrow is beautiful. Most people die tomorrow even.
Our goal is to make the best personal computers in the world and make products we are proud to sell and would recommend to our family and friends. And we want to do that at the lowest prices we can. But I have to tell you, there's some stuff in our industry that we wouldn't be proud to ship, that we wouldn't be proud to recommend to our family and friends. And we can't do it. We just can't ship junk.
There's no future in cool. That's a trend. That's a fad. It comes and it goes, just like dope money. Dope money comes quick and leaves quicker. Okay? We're here for a slow, but a for show. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Paso corto, vista larga, which is short steps, long vision.
In the first month, I was packing boxes on my hands and knees on the hard cement floors. And with somebody else standing next to me, kneeling next to me, we're packing. And I said, you know what we need? Knee pads. This is killing my knees. And this guy packing alongside me said, we need packing tables. And I was like, oh, that's the most brilliant idea I've ever heard. And the next day I went and bought packing tables and it like doubled our productivity.
The things that you feared or hated or embarrassed about as a child end up being the genesis of the things that you're most proud about as an adult. A lot of the things that you love and value in yourself in adulthood are the light side of something that you were ashamed, fearful, disgusted by when you were younger.
You must always predict growth because it is your attitude more than anything else that will determine your level of success. Even when the economy is going down, some people and some companies are doing well. Simply respond by becoming more busy and more aggressive. You cannot control the sales result, but you can control one thing. You can control your sales activities.
Manifestation doesn't work when you're waiting for signs instead of building systems. It doesn't work when you expect the universe to do what discipline is meant to do. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you build a system for.
Champions just interpret anxiety as excitement. And when you're sick of it is the point where you'll have no adrenal response. You could do it in your sleep. Confidence as the percentage likelihood of what we think is going to happen will happen. To be more confident, we want to have more proof.
The one companion that's always going to be with you is yourself. The first thing we have to do is we have to get ourselves to the point where we don't necessarily need a companion. It's better to be by yourself than it is to be with a bad man. Start making yourself a companion that you're comfortable with.
If you never leave your comfort zone, you're never going to create your dreams because essentially your dreams go to die in your comfort zone. It started as a protection mechanism and now it's turned into what is keeping you from getting the life that you want and getting out of your comfort zone.
You don't have to be very smart to earn money, but you do have to understand some basic rules. Just keep working at getting better at what you're doing. And there isn't any competition. You're the only competition you're ever going to have. Master whatever you do. Master it.
There is always the struggle between doing and being. You feel like you're lacking something. That's why you need to do. Connected with the source. There's nothing to add and there's nothing to take away from you. Forget about your identity. Be as you are. That's it. No matter what you're going to attain, you have it for 100 years afterward, it's gone. So, just be. Don't stress yourself too much with what you don't have.
People think focus means saying yes to the thing you have to focus on, but that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the other 100 good ideas. He said, for every 100 great opportunities that are brought to me, I say no 99 times. Don't leave the field of the few things that matter to chase the novel, the new, and the exciting, because ultimately you'll leave success on the table.
Your excuses will destroy you and take everything that you ever wanted from you if you let them. Extreme ownership is this went wrong, this failed, didn't accomplish this, and it's not the fault of my boss, it's not the fault of my girlfriend, it's not the fault of my parents, it's not the fault of the weather, it's my fault. If these problems are because of me, then I'm capable of fixing these problems.
Never miss it, right? I have this morning routine. I wake up at 5 a.m. no matter what. If I have to take a nap later in the day or go to bed earlier the next night, fine. But have each morning is what helps start to predicate my confidence. Also, not going to coffee right away. So I wake up at 5 every day, I do the hydration salts, and I sit right down and I read one positive page in a book that I like to help prepare my mind and prepare myself for the day. I then get into breathwork, meditation, I go for a walk, and I hit the gym. Every single day. Just don't get right on Instagram or TikTok and start doom scrolling because you're feeding your mind with terrible inputs.
And you're feeding your mind with things that you can't control.
Totally.
So you can't control the initial programming of how you're positioning your day.
Cause I know every motherfucker ain't gonna do what I'm gonna do. So this is how you level up. It's so easy to be great nowadays, my friend, because most people are weak. Most people don't want to go to that extra mile. Most people don't want to find that extra because it sucks. It's miserable. It's lonely. You become very, very powerful when you overcome yourself.
I made a resolution that if I heard a good idea, I would try it 5 or 10 times before I pass judgment. Whenever you have a goal, the only question you ask is, how? Whenever you have a problem to solve, the only question you ask is, how? The wonderful thing about the word how is that it triggers ideas. Top people try this and they try that and they try something else, but it never occurs to them that they will not eventually be successful.
I used to define power by the distance between thoughts and reality, the distance that we can shrink between wanting to do something or thinking something should be done and it being done is a direct indication of our personal power in our lives. Don't be a powerless bitch. Like, just shrink the gap. Yeah, we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. Bad things happen all the time, and they only become interrelated if you let it affect your behavior. The more I've tried to create space between how I feel and what I do, the more consistent my outcomes have been.
You strengthen the connections in it by doing things that you don't want to do. You're hypertrophying this area of your brain.
Become your own man. Nobody can destroy you if you won't let them. Stand up and be a man. Make the hard decisions, make the sacrifices, make the unpopular decisions, and become comfortable in your own skin. And if you are not a person that you are comfortable being alone with, that is the one person in this universe that you have full power, full right, and full responsibility to change. You be that warrior in that garden, all right? And you stand strong. You be a strong man. You be a good man. And you just let the world rage around you.
Many people understand, but those who do sure live a lot better than the ones who don't. The positive emotions of thought form the side of the stream which carries one to fortune. Poverty needs no plan. It needs no one to aid it because it is bold and ruthless. Riches are shy and timid. They have to be attractive. It's a mental thing. It's all in your mind.
Your only goal becomes to don't break the chain. In measuring your progress, you get an immediate reward. Every action that you take is actually a vote for the type of person that you want to become. The goal is not to read a book, it's to become a reader. The goal is not to run a marathon, it's to become a runner. If you can change your habits, you can change your life.
Shrug your shoulders and go forward. Keep pushing through things that suck. Do you actually want to do this or not? Because if you actually want to do it, what's going to stop you? Nothing.
You could receive 10 compliments in one criticism, and it's more likely that you're gonna remember and you'll be kind of stuck on the criticism way longer than if I'm gonna focus on the bad, I'm also gonna need to focus on the good. I need to see both sides of the coin. There's 10 times more positive aspects to you than negative ones, but we tend to focus on the negative. Be kinder to yourself. You know, now that you know this exists, you can know that you're not a flawed individual. I have this inside of my brain. Everybody has this. It is possible to be scared of something and do it anyways. It's possible to take action that's different than how you feel. It's just something that you need to become more skilled at working with.
Let go of the year that's still living in your head. Beginnings don't work unless you properly end. That's what it means to have a year still living in your head. It keeps whispering old stories into new seasons. New beginnings don't start on January 1st. They start the moment you stop dragging old energy into new opportunities. Choose a word, not a goal. Resolutions fade because they're rigid. A word gives you direction without pressure. When you chase goals, you measure distance. When you chase growth, you build momentum.
One of the hardest things sometimes for the human to do is get to the point where they stop lying to themselves. You want to tell yourself the truth, but you want to tell yourself the truth in understanding and forgiveness. If you're not still there, your companion, which is yourself, needs to feel free to tell you it's okay. You're not that person anymore, and you're not in that place anymore. I'm constantly beating myself up over my failures in the past. I'm not someone that I want to be alone with.